Sorry, you got me with that one.
Welcome!
Hey, internets! It's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Welcome to Paradise, Michigan. Our Kids on Bikes, a role-playing game set in the 1980s. This is episode 17, Weird Science. And while that's primarily an allusion to last week's episode, it's probably going to be a running theme for quite a long time because as they're learning. So
I love science.
yeah, we'll get in just a couple minutes. We'll talk about, we'll do a little bit of a recap, bring everybody up to speed. But this is a good time just to remind you that you can catch all of our VODs over on youtube.com/mini terrain domain. You can get your Scribes and Scrolls. You can get your Mythos Investigators Lauderville. You can get your Sky Metal Iron Gods. You can get your Kids on Bikes Welcome to Paradise, Michigan, and a whole lot more. All over there, usually within a week of the episode airing. In fact, I have a couple episodes to upload tomorrow. And with that subscription, that is also a good time to remind you to look above Tamiko and M's head up in the upper right-hand corner, where you can see our terrain treats, domain pops, +1 to fun. These are our new domain dice for this game. They are domain dice are a way that you, the audience, can have a little bit of an influence on our game simply by tipping $5, cheering 500 bits, subscribing, resubbing, gifting subs. All that stuff will earn domain pops for the players. They can use them on a reroll as adversity, or not a reroll, as adversity tokens to gain +1 bonuses to a particular roll, or they can spend 5 of them to roll on our D100 mystery grab bag table, which we've been averaging about 1 a session lately. And it was the very end of the session when Jessica's roll resolved. But if you want to see how that works, all you got to do is participate in one of those ways, and they will get those domain pops and use them in that way. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night to Nerdarchy, where you can catch myself and Ted along with our incredible GM, Robin. They are telling just an amazing Da Vinci Punk type story, The Old Guard. That's a thrill to play in along with Ted, Asa, and Frag. We're having a blast over there.
Carlos.
Oh yeah, and Carlos. Oh my gosh. As I'm saying that, I'm like, there's another person in there. Thank you, Ted. But yeah, you can tune in to catch us over there. We play that game once a month. Of course, Monday nights you can catch us with Scribes and Scrolls. And then we have on occasional Tuesdays, Sky Metal Iron Gods. One Wednesday a month. Lately it's been on a different night of the week, but once a month, we play Lawlerville, our Mythos Investigators Call of Cthulhu game. And of course, on Thursday nights, you can catch us right here for Kids on Bikes RPG. I was trying to vamp. There it is. I was vamping, waiting for Carrie to get back in her seat because Carrie has an announcement to make.
I sure as shit do. I'm heading to Gen Con with another troupe of mine. That's a troupe with a U, because I know theater shit now. Yeah, we are performing at 7:00 on Saturday night at Gen Con, and it's going to be a hoot and a half. It's going to be a one-shot. You don't need to know anything about our current campaign to stop by, enjoy, laugh, cry, and yeah, hope to see you there.
Do you know if by chance that's just a Gen Con event? It's not being recorded or streamed or anything?
I do believe we're going to find a way to record it. If it's not video, I'm almost certain we are going to have it recorded on audio, and it's going to be part of our podcast.
Sweet.
If you're interested in our podcast, it's on Spotify as well as gamingpaper.com, and they are sponsoring us, and that's why we get to go.
Awesome.
So
Very cool. Also, shout out to Tamiko once again putting out the bingo cards. There is a link in the chat for that. Make sure you grab the entire link because there's a hashtag in there. It breaks up the link, so make sure you get the whole thing. Before we get into the game here, just a quick reminder, just to let everybody know in our audience that we have safety tools in place. We have had a session 0, and we have a safety have clear lines and veils and safety tools in place to protect ourselves during our games. That is because we know that at times the language and the situations can be very intense. These are adults playing an adult game, so you may hear some 4-letter words and more occasionally, and there will be potentially graphic depictions of violence and other scenarios. If that is not something to your liking, please feel free to head on over to another stream. We will not be offended. And I just want to remind you before we start playing that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether you believe it or not, it is true. There are any number of reasons why people can be struggling, and anybody can struggle. And you need to know, first and foremost, that it is okay to not be okay. It's okay if you find yourself struggling, but please know that you do not have to struggle alone. We have made it very simple for you to type into our chat at any time, !help, as I believe Jeremy has done already. And you'll see a couple of URLs will appear when you do that. You can check out findahelpline.com or check out takethis.org's growing list of resources. I encourage you to check out or visit those websites, bookmark them, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I would like to welcome you to Paradise, Michigan. In our last session, we had a split party situation. We had Oak, Coop, Rosie, and Laz were all infiltrating the Paradise Orchards processing facility into the underground portion of the facility in an attempt to rescue Billy and Jessica, both of whom had dematerialized in front of their eyes, and it was believed that they were in the hands of a secretive and some might say nefarious government organization or entity that is operating in secret under this facility. Well, from Jessica and Billy's perspective, that is 100% true, because Billy has apparently had the cryptid protocol enacted upon him and is exhibiting aspects of lycanthropy. If nothing else, Jessica has noticed that Billy has gotten buff. Jessica was placed into a room in which it appeared as though the people watching over her had taken every precaution to keep reflective surfaces away. While they were preparing to do some experimentation, unfortunately, one lab technician forgot to remove his watch. Jessica saw her reflection. The next thing she knew is she was standing over by the door, wearing said watch, holding all 4 of the scientists' ID badges in her hand, while they were all unconscious, and some of them appeared to have broken bones. Billy also snatched one of the ID cards from a scientist and escaped into the hallway. While in this facility, everybody began running through, trying to find their way to one another, find their way out, and began to experience some very peculiar things, running into, in some cases, directly into some military guards armed with machine guns, who appeared to be shooting at them. They were able to make their escape from some very close calls, one of which was thanks to Coop, who everybody forgot had some dummy grenades. Though I don't think Coop even realized that they were dummy grenades, just that he had grenades.
Just out for blood.
But regardless, all of them were able to make their way once again together, and then they followed a path that seemed to indicate it was leading towards an exit. Though none of them saw this, we, the audience, saw, as the scientist known as Dr. K, one of whom Jessica had knocked unconscious, removed the sign indicating the exit and instead showed that it was the Northern Waterworks. They found themselves in a long tunnel, ending in a doorway that opened out into a drainage ditch on the north end of town, outside of the city proper. At night, while you were all getting your bearings, you saw a brilliant light flash across the sky, and you watched as a meteorite slowly arced and crashed not too far away from you and not too far away from Twilight Grove. It is the next day. You have all gone back to the safety and the respite of Twilight Grove, to your individual grandparents' homes, and you all awaken the next day. As we tune in to everybody on this new day, morning in Twilight Grove, I would like to know, first and foremost, Jessica and Billy. Jessica, we'll start with you. What is going through your mind? What are you doing? How did you spend the night following the aftermath of your ordeal at the labs?
I think when Jessica gets into her room, she immediately covers all mirrors. She just needs an evening just to think, to I think that she's gonna take out a notebook or something, maybe even her diary that I think that she would absolutely have, and she would begin just writing down her thoughts of what happened, with the strange feeling that she has never written something as crazy as what she is writing now in this diary. Everything else seems just so mundane now compared to all of this, and so she writes for a bit, and I think at that, in the middle of writing, she probably falls asleep. And when she wakes up after a while, I think is when she has the determination to slowly unveil. I imagine she has this vanity mirror, where there's a bunch of cheap makeup just strewn about, different colors and glitters and all of that, and she sits down and she slowly uncovers the covering of the mirror, and she looks into it for a while.
As you sit in front of this vanity mirror staring into it, you find yourself staring at your own reflection. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. It doesn't talk to you. It doesn't move opposite you. At least for now, your reflection seems to be leaving you alone.
She's like, ugh, fine, be that way, as she gets up and then goes downstairs.
As Jessica turns and walks out of her room, we swing over to Billy's house.
We got home late, I imagine. A lot going on. Billy does his best to just slink in. I mean, he's not wearing anything more than, the simple pair of pants. love to know what happened to, his clothes and particularly his hiking boots. But thankfully he's got a pair of sneakers, in the stuff he brought from home. But he slinks in and goes upstairs, and as is, wont with all of the craziness and the exhaustion, he just wants to go to sleep. And the bed, like so often, is just right underneath the window, and the shade's not pulled down. Moonlight is shining bright on the bed, and he tosses and turns for a while, like, restless leg kind of syndrome. And eventually he just can't take it anymore. So like he gets up, and just ever so slowly he's just rearranging the furniture in the room, to get the bed out of the direct moonlight. And then he eventually goes to sleep in a state of exhaustion, full of sweat, anxiety, and stress of the day, and knowing full well that there's probably a shitstorm to come later.
From there, we will swing over to see what Laz, what are you up to on this new morning?
I think Laz has probably slept in quite a bit, and it's, I don't know, probably 10 o'clock before he manages to make his way back outside. So the others might be kind of already gathered in the green space, if that's what's happening. And he kind of like lazily comes out the front door of his grandparents' house, the green door with the brass handle. And he's yawning and stretching, and he kind of looks around to see what's going on, what there might be to get into. He's not really sure that he wants to discuss what happened yesterday just yet. So he kind of moves over to the side where he's got his skateboard propped up against the wall. He grabs it, and he's going to start kind of, making his way in circles around the cul-de-sac. Kind of nice and slow this morning.
Coop.
Well, Coop wakes up and, and he is going to check his candy stash and throw a couple more bars into his backpack, because by this point, we've probably consumed what he did have. And he's going to head out onto the green space, and because he's a giant nerd, he's probably the first one there. And he's just gonna kind of stand around, look down, see if there's any interesting rocks, even though he's already examined all of the rocks out here. And he's just gonna kind of be like, I wonder if they left already. Maybe I'm too late. But it's so early.
Feel that
And
so
so-
much.
Yeah, so that's it. He's basically just gonna be like, just wandering around, doing that thing where you walk on like the cement things.
Yeah, it's like for at least an hour probably. It's Coop out there. It's like does like a slow dissolve as Coop's doing different activities, sitting on a bench, picking up rocks, walking across the
Tries
edge
to
of
do
the
a cartwheel.
curb.
He's on his back in the grass.
Uh-huh.
Like,
I love it. I love it.
At least one of those. He's just absent-mindedly tossing a grenade in his hand.
Awesome.
What about Oak?
So I think with everything that has gone on with all of us for the last at least 24 hours, if not more, Oak is really having some issues, right? And I think he doesn't really sleep that much that night. They get home and he puts some ice on his face. Maybe even not ice, but like maybe even like just the bag of peas, you know, like he just like gets the bag of peas out of the freezer and just from the dodgeball hit. And then he'll lay in bed, but I think he gets like a blanket. He gets like the blanket, and the blanket most definitely is like a Ghostbusters themed blanket, right? And it like he like wraps it over himself, and you see he's got like a flashlight and his journal, and he's got everything, like all the notes that he can possibly remember. You see him like legitimately drawing out as much as he can remember of every pathway that they took, right? Everything that they did, every mark that Laz left, he's making those notes for that, until the point where he just until he like gets so tired that he passes out.
Oh, Buzz.
But then in the morning when he wakes up, he realizes he's got this tent over him, and he like gets out, and he's also doing some other things. He's like,
I mean, you have the paper stuck to your face.
Yeah, there's definitely a piece of parchment that like, so when he peels it off, there's like part graphite that's just smeared on his face backwards on his face, and he like wipes it off and everything. But he you see he's like, he goes over to the conspiracy board, and right where the picture of Billy is, and it says like werewolf, he's like puts a red dot in it, like, yes, that was a confirmation, baby. Like, we got it. It happened. And that, from all of that, he just collects everything, he gathers himself, and then he realizes a very, very painful fact. Where the hell is my bike? Like, I know we took the bikes. Do they have the bikes? And I think that he will gather his stuff, he'll put it on his back, and he'll rush downstairs, throws open the garage. Is the bike there?
Your bike is in the garage.
Okay. He breathes a heavy sigh of relief, and immediately packs the backpack into the bag, into the back of the basket in the back, and he just whispers, "Thank you, Seven. God, I'm so thankful for y'all. I don't know. I hope it's y'all that did it. If it's Santa Claus, God bless you, man. Like, that is amazing. Okay. And I think what he'll do is he'll just be ready. He's got to describe it. He's got on, I think he's got shorts on today, so you can clearly see his braces. But on his shirt, he's got a vintage like Ninja Turtles shirt with and then the floral is like some sort of hibiscus flower. Some sort of hibiscus flower floral Hawaiian shirt that's like draped over him. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. I think that's probably what we're going with.
And Rosie.
So as Rosie wakes up, this has all been obviously very weird, and she's kind of like, as she wakes up and looks around and kind of gains her bearings, she's still like almost trying to convince herself that like this has been a dream. Like, maybe not all of it, but like what happened in like the facility and that kind of stuff. Like, maybe this has not been real. And I would say, like, as she's getting dressed, she like feels like a tightness in her legs, like she's been running, and it kind of is slowly dawning on her that it was probably real. And the cement of that is when she goes to put on her shirt, she notices that the collar and the shirt has like come apart, like it's been ripped from where the guy like had her by the shirt in the facility. And she's like, she like takes it off and like puts her finger through, and she's like, God damn it. And then she just kind of like tosses the shirt in the hamper and puts a new shirt on, and would just kind of sit, I think, for a second and like think, and then just kind of like shake it off. She would go downstairs and eat a bowl of Wheaties. And then I think she would make her way out into the garage. She doesn't think her bike is there, but she's just going to load up her crate and walk to the green space and work on her pitching and her hitting and all the normal stuff that she does.
When you get to the garage, your bike is there.
And this just adds to the confusion of all of it. And she would load her crate up onto her bike and do the same thing that she was going to do.
I would like everybody to make me a grit check, please.
Oh. 15.
Jeez, those numbers are just getting lower and lower, you guys.
Hold on.
I am the
Wait.
grittiest.
Oh,
you
you
just
can't
wait.
get
I'm so
lower. You
proud of
can't
you.
get lower than a 1.
I know. Let's just wait. I might get a 1 as well, and then
There's no minus 1 mods in
synergies.
this game.
It'll be synergies. Here we go. Okay, still low. I got the 2. Woo!
For those watching at home, the highest number we had was a 6. The numbers they're putting up are 6, 4, 2, 2, 1.
Rosie got a 15.
I had a 15.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Ted.
Sorry, I was looking at the
Ruh-roh,
written.
Raggy.
I was looking at the written
Oh, I'm
numbers, and I
sorry.
did not
I
hear yours.
Did not.
But
put
that's
mine
fine,
in
that's
the chat
fine.
Like a good student.
15, 6, 4, 2, 2, 1.
That's fine. This was not a pass or fail. This was to determine who is affected by something. I will add a couple of footnotes that 2 of you of the 4 that went on the rescue mission, 2 of you or 1 of you has Jessica and Billy's backpacks.
Oh.
We had sort of established that when they vanished, their backpack stayed behind. They don't lose any of that stuff. So it's figure out amongst you who has that.
We'll probably have Jessica's.
Footnote number 2. Upon waking, Billy, you would discover in your possession the ID badge and lanyard that you took off of the scientist. And Jessica, when you go to that vanity and after staring at it and deciding when your reflection doesn't talk back to you, you would notice those 4 ID badges sitting on the desk there, the 4 that you found. The final footnote is Coop.
Do I still have a lab coat?
If you took a lab coat out of there, then yeah, you'd have a lab coat. Yes, and Laz has a dodgeball. Coop. As you are spending at least an hour in the green space by yourself, waiting for everyone else to wake up, it's one of those summer mornings where the night was warm, but the morning has dawned kind of cold or cooler than usual. So the dew is very heavy, and there's a low fog clinging, and there's some low clouds in the sky, like it might rain at some point later in the day. So everything has this sort of gray, ethereal look to it. And as you are hanging out in the park here, just being across the street, you can barely see the houses You can see like the peaks of their roofs just sticking out.
I
About
found a cricket. I found a cricket. Nobody's here.
about 20 minutes into your hour, I would like, Coop,
right now.
for you, as you're alone with your thoughts in this space, to tell us what memory, what bad memory is it that comes forth in your mind, seemingly from nowhere.
Well, I think it would be appropriate that while Coop's out there just doing his Coop things, he's kind of thinking to himself that maybe he did get left behind. Maybe everybody did already meet up and they just went without him, because Coop kind of has some real deep-seated abandonment issues, mostly stemming from his father just leaving one night, and just leaving him and his mother behind. And Coop always thought that it was his fault until he heard his mother talking on the phone with a friend and realized that it actually had something to do with a car, because he heard his mom say something about he went to go find a newer model. So
That's sad and funny at the same time.
yeah.
Weird mix.
As these
So Coop's probably just thinking that while he's just walking around and singing to himself, you know, my baby takes the morning train.
as you are just standing in this space by yourself, you've barely noticed that the fog seems to have grown thicker. And you hear, seemingly from all around you, you're not quite sure where in this fog. Why are you all alone?
God?
You flatter me.
And Coop's looking around to see who's talking to him.
You don't see anybody. Where are your friends?
I don't know. They probably either went to go get our bikes without me, or they went to go check out the asteroid without me, or went to go get some food without me. That one hurts Coop the most.
Without you. Always, people are doing things without you, leaving you behind. It doesn't make you angry.
No, I don't know who you are. No, it makes me sad, not angry.
You should feel sad. They've left you. They won't be coming back. They won't be coming back. Just like your father.
Well, how do you know that? Did they get captured again?
I need you to roll a grit check.
Oh, grit, my favorite skill. Okay. That's a 4. My grit's a D6, y'all.
You are definitely feeling the sadness starting to well up more. Even if you try to hide it, try to push it down, it's starting to well up more.
Well, Coop's gonna cope the best way Coop knows how. He's gonna reach into his bag and grab a Charleston chew that he threw in there, and just start munching on his chewy Charleston chew. Like, well, mean, I hope they didn't get captured or anything, but I mean, if they don't come back, I understand. I don't like me very much either.
Oh my god. Oh.
They only keep you around because you make them laugh once in a while. But they're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you.
They are laughing at me. And Coop's sitting down on the grass, which we now know is dewy, so he's getting his shorts all wet.
I want you to know something.
What?
The next time you see them, no matter how much they pretend to care about you, no matter how much they tell you that they're your friend, know that they are lying.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I don't know what it is about you that you keep pushing people away.
Me either, man. But you're great to talk to. What's your name? Maybe we can be friends.
I would be your only true friend. You can call me Algernon.
Huh. I know that Hey! Wait a second. I've heard of you.
My reputation precedes me.
You're really mean to Templeton.
I tell Templeton the truth, and he doesn't want to hear it. That's all I do, is I tell people the truth. I show them the way things really are. And they don't always like to hear that.
Well, I'm gonna have to talk to Templeton about you.
Templeton, he's a simpleton.
That's not nice.
I'm only saying it as it is.
You're kind of a dick.
Yeah, Coop. Yeah.
You've got spirit, kid. Maybe, just maybe, that's what will keep you above. Keep your head above the surface of the water. Keep you from drowning in self-pity. Think on that.
Yeah. Okay, totally. Coop stood up at this point. Now he's kind of like walking in little circles around the green space, trying to see whoever the hell's see if he can find Templeton out there somewhere. 'Cause I'm not sure that he knows that Templeton communicates with his mind yet. So he's looking for a talking rat.
Templeton or Algernon?
Sorry, Algernon. Algernon. The mean one.
I would like you to roll. I almost said the number I rolled. I would like you to roll this number. I would like you to roll a D100, please.
81.
I rolled a 73. As you're wandering
Close.
around in circles, the voice talking to you, and you're just casually walking around, kind of looking around, trying to see. You find yourself veering towards one of the part of the green space that's near the edge, near the sidewalk, and there's a bench there. And as the bench comes into view, sitting on the bench, eating at probably probably a discarded wrapper of a Charleston chew, is Templeton.
Oh.
Oh.
Just holding the wrapper and just kind of licking the chocolate residue in it.
Hey, Tempe.
It takes
Hi, Tempe, it's Coop.
It takes him a moment, and you see he kind of pops up. Oh, hello there. I didn't know if anyone was around.
I think they all left.
Laz is still sleeping.
Oh.
He's sleeping for a very long time.
Well, that makes sense. He's like a grumpy teenager, so. Hey, can I ask you about something?
Of course.
Have you seen Algernon around here?
I haven't seen Algernon since I left the lab.
A guy was just talking to me when I was all by myself, and he said his name was Algernon. And then I remembered Algernon was in the lab with you. So I've been looking around to see if I can find him.
You see Templeton sitting up and kind of his nose as he's sniffing at the air. I don't smell anyone else but you here.
Well,
That
that's
is-
just really weird.
I don't like it if Algernon is talking to you. Whatever Algernon says, don't believe.
I don't like it either.
Algernon's a liar.
Hey, he tried to say you were a liar, but I mean, you're nice and he's not.
Well, I don't know why you're hearing Algernon, but I hope you didn't accidentally let him out when you were at the lab.
I don't think we did. I don't remember seeing any animals while we were there.
Algernon would stick to the shadows. He wouldn't let you know that he was there. He wouldn't let you see him until he was sure he could get out.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Tempe. We weren't really paying that much attention. We were, we weren't paying attention low. We were paying attention up because there were guys with guns following us around.
Just be careful, and I will pay extra attention and keep my nose working to see if I can scent Algernon. Around this time is when others could start wandering their way out to the green space.
From out in like the fog, you hear like a click click click, and then a break, and then a click click click, and then a break, and you see Rosie coming through, and she's like kind of volleying a ball up with her bat, and then she'll like catch it, and then boom boom boom, catch it again, and then she's kind of starting to set up and like, hey Coop.
Rosie, hi. I thought you guys left already.
It's early, Coop. I don't think anybody's even up this early.
Oh. Well, it's okay. I've just been sitting here, looking at stuff and walking around and talking to Templeton.
Oh, and Rosie hadn't even spotted him on the bench. It's like, hey, Templeton.
Hello, Rosie.
And Rosie would go over to Coop and be like, I'm glad I ran into you. Actually, I wanted to thank you for the the thing you did with the grenades. That was badass. And and Rosie kind of like looks both ways. She's like, well, I really appreciated it. So.
Oh, thanks, Rosie. And Coop's blushing, and the act of blushing actually makes it stand out that he didn't get all of the green from around the edge of his face. So he's still got a little bit of green.
Coop, come here. And Rosie would like would wipe him off and like make sure it's all like gone. You're like, I really, really appreciate it, Coop. You're a good friend.
Thanks. I think maybe next time I won't wear as much green.
I think the green was fine. You just got to make sure you look in a mirror, you know? Speaking of mirrors, have you seen Jessica or anybody else?
No. Nope. Just you. I thought everybody left already. I didn't realize it was so early.
You want to play catch?
Okay.
And Rosie would hand Coop her old glove and play catch for a little bit.
The rest of you can wander down there as you wish, if that's your intention, or let me know if there's something else you're doing. But at some point, unless you're doing something else, you all make your way out to the green space. The sun has actually started to come out, chasing away any threat of rain, pushing the fog away. There's just that lingering little bit of haziness, but enough that as you all step outside, you can see Coop and Rosie playing catch out in the green space.
I think Rosie throws the ball and Coop misses it and then has to go like jogging after it, and you can hear him saying, but yeah, like I was saying, if that meteor that landed over by the barn is like a meteor, then it might be like the meteorite that we found in the lighthouse. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it could be, I guess. I can't imagine that it'd be like a man-made thing. I don't know why the science-y folks would want to blow up their own barn.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Here. Way off to the side.
And they would just kind of be chatting. Rosie is definitely not throwing the ball as hard as she is capable of throwing it. But that is just...
no heaters for Coop. Like no,
boom, right into his fucking chest. Nope.
And I would imagine, even though Coop's aim is not all that great, Rosie is still able to pop
she's
the
framing
couple paces
for sure. She's catching him in the air, even if she has to run a little bit.
So when Billy comes out, he definitely has his hat pulled down a little low. This one is probably a little bit more beat up than what he normally wears, because it's the backup cap, and there's, even with the ball cap on, his eyes squint a bit at the bright light. He spent a while just stewing this morning of what the possible conversations were going to be once he actually went out to go see his friends. So he's moving a lot slower, and he is not immediately doing anything to seek and engage. It's all right, let's see who's out there and mull things over and just kind of be in the space with them without actually doing any interacting.
As Billy walks up, Rosie immediately, it's like, oh my god, everybody, it's Schwarzenegger. How are your prison muscles doing this morning?
So, let me ask that question. Am I back to normal, Jake?
Not exactly.
Okay.
You, it's less obvious wearing the clothes, but you noticed when you pulled on your shirt that it fit just a little tighter, maybe a little better, in a way that it was tight around your arms and chest. And the other thing you would notice, besides the fact that you do seem to be a little more cut than you were, is that man, you're hungry.
Yeah, I imagine he, housed quite a lot of breakfast. Probably that's the only thing he did quickly this morning. He's still thinking about the pizza that he didn't get last night. So he's probably going to bring that up as a possible, if it actually exists, lunch option.
After that experience, you and Jessica want to actually go to Maniac's Pizza?
You're like, you don't understand. I experienced cardboard pizza. I'm ashamed of this. I need actual pizza.
Yeah. That it doesn't necessarily need to be that place, but he definitely has a hankering for pizza. So as Rosie is talking about Schwarzenegger, he just is shaking his head. I don't even know what they did. Everybody out here yet? And he just looks around, trying to push the conversation in another direction.
I think as you say that, you see Jessica walking up to this area. She has her high ponytail with her scrunchie, and she has these huge white sunglasses that are way too big for her face. As she just casually walks up. I don't think she would say anything. Just trying to think. I don't think that she would. She would just kind of sit either on a bench or bleachers or something, overlooking this grassy area.
As you kind of join into the space, again, out of actual desire for the answer, but to also deflect the attention off of him, Billy would turn to you and, morning, Jessica, how are you faring today?
Jessica's looking straight ahead. She's
middle distance.
Yeah. We should go see that meteor.
That's what I was saying.
I mean, yeah, are you up to it? You two seem to have had very different experiences. You guys were gone for a while,
What do you mean?
How long?
We didn't know where the hell you guys were for a week.
A week? And no one came looking for me? Oh my god.
That's what we were doing!
I mean, we didn't know where the hell you were. We didn't even know where to start.
One doesn't just walk into the processing plant, Jessica.
Rosie would throw the ball to Coop, and then she would hold up a finger just a sec, and she would go over to her pile of shit, and she would grab Jessica's backpack, and she'd be like, I grabbed this.
Jessica nods.
Ted,
takes her backpack.
Billy, I think Laz has yours.
I was just gonna say, I think about that time is when Laz finally comes skating up, kind of lazily, and he says, "Heads up, Weebelo," and he tosses Billy his backpack.
So, as he kind of like looks around, and I imagine Oka's joined in, because I know you had come out, but you hadn't actually engaged anywhere.
Yeah, I think that Oak had definitely been kind of mulling to himself, and I feel like at this point now he's definitely gotten to the green space, and he's just there's like this exuberant smile on his face because he sees all of his friends like in the same space. They're not hurt. to a degree, like, and there's this sense of joy, but also I need to know more. So like
Rosie would bop him on the head and be like, "Hey, dodgeball sniper."
Hey, I'm so glad to see all of y'all. I really am.
Dude, and he looks straight at Billy.
Okay, I gotta know. What did it feel like?
First off, and he takes a look around. Is there, besides the six of us, is there anybody else around?
There never is.
Templeton.
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
plus
Templeton.
There's
Templeton
Templeton
is,
there. Don't discount Templeton.
Templeton's last is familiar, so
Templeton is Laz's familiar.
Laz is a druid. That's awesome.
So, all right. First, there is way too much weird shit going on in this town. Second,
Agreed.
this is where this is where the first time he actually makes eye contact with anyone, and he just like goes around the circle and looks like dead in the eye each one of you. I want to thank you all for coming to get us yesterday. I don't think any of us expected frickin' military rifles pointing at us, but I don't know what we're up against. I don't know what their interest is in us, or even how they're doing the shit that they do. But we need to do something different.
Well,
Yes, I'm all about continuing to explore the weird stuff here and what have you, but
I mean, maybe the Seven know something about it.
I was just gonna say, what the hell are we supposed to do? They snatched you two up with fucking kid vapor. I
and
mean, how are we supposed to hide from that?
when I came to, I was strapped down with tubes stuck into my veins and something coming into me and something going out. He turns to look at Jessica. They do anything to you?
They gave me peas.
That is even worse.
They gave you
Rosie would
what?
kind of laugh. And
Like
look
the
at-
vegetable?
Yeah. It was disgusting.
That brings
Actually,
up a
honestly,
good point. There's something going on with you. I know why they would want you, Mr. Super Puberty. What do they want with you? And I look over at Jessica.
Like, my charming personality as she, like, flicks her ponytail.
Billy restrains tries to restrain a smile. There might be more than that. I don't know whether they did stuff to us or whether this town did something to us. I mean, they clearly, and I'll just kind of like nod over at Templeton. Got Algernon, James. They've got some kind of science that's weird going on here. You're welcome.
Weird science?
I don't know whether this is a temporary thing, but to answer your question, I am terrified of what the ramifications are going to be. I imagine you guys have the concept of this is even ridiculous saying it, but, what a werewolf is. And when I disappeared from you guys in the basement, The next thing I know was yesterday. And I begin to describe the scene of me in the campsite and hearing my bones breaking and looking up at the moon. Every story that has been told around the campfire about werewolves as they're bloodthirsty monsters. I turn and look at Jessica, and after we entered the bookstore the first time, you said I attacked you. I don't remember making any of those choices. I care about all of you. We haven't been friends all that long. We haven't known each other truly all that long, but we've done some crazy things. And I honestly don't want to cause any harm to any of you.
I
And he
think
just kind of like stops talking and looks like past all of you,
yeah.
looking for like the next thing to say.
I think at the end of that, Billy, you see Oak just hugs you, dude. Like Oak just hugs you.
Oh,
It's like,
dude, I just want you to know, like, yeah, okay, so that happened, but like, you're not a monster, dude. You're a friend.
So
I just
there,
want you to know
as you
like,
make contact,
yeah,
he wasn't even aware that you crossed the space. And
aw.
there's like just a knee-jerk reaction
mm-hmm.
of someone in his space,
Mm-hmm.
and because of like he's afraid he's gonna do something,
Yeah.
like it's that momentary pull away. He doesn't get out of your space,
Mm-hmm.
but he certainly pulls back a little bit. But when you actually reach around and hug, he'll slowly put the arms around and return.
No, it's okay. I understand. You've been through a lot, man. I get it. I just want you to know, like, it wasn't like we didn't think about y'all for the week you were gone.
And he literally like will
Hold on 1 second.
he'll run to his backpack and like literally hold out to you the game plan for the week that they were and like planning out how we were gonna.
Now Coop and I had no idea, but Rosie and Laz, they were doing surveillance for like a week.
We've seen the movies. We understand. It takes time to find where we could have been and do things safely. I truly do mean it when I say I appreciate that you guys truly risked your lives coming to save us.
But while you were gone, we figured some stuff out. We have witches on our side.
The vague memory of the first time of being in the White Room and the slip of the first part of which comes out of the dude's mouth, and it's like vaguely had a clue to that before. Are they legitimately witches?
Yeah, the sisters from the bookshop are legitimately witches. And
I thought the other
Heinz
two
lives
didn't.
here too.
Wouldn't Billy know that?
No, what is it? Billy and Jessica didn't know about all of the 7 reveal.
Yeah, we
Billy
don't
went with
know
us
that
to that.
Billy was
he
there.
vaporized in that room.
Oh,
Billy-
that's right.
Billy disappeared at the end of that whole meeting.
Jessica wouldn't know anything.
okay. Well, I totally forgot you were there. But they did this stuff, and the symbol lit up on the ground, and they were trying to save you, but they didn't. But they were trying to.
Don't really know what the ley lines are that they're talking about that are strong through this town. But if we don't find some way of getting, allies that are truly on our side or some defense against the weird stuff they're doing, we're just going to be more of their experiments. And I'll, to the best of my ability, I want to say the lines that the doctor had said to me, Dr. Devin Sharp, and I'll hold up the name tag, and talk about, like, he basically wanted me to be his, science experiment, his play toy. And like, almost like vehemently as I'm spitting these words out. It's kind of disgusting that these people want to experiment on kids. And I guess, look towards Templeton. Animals too. And just, give him a smile.
You know what I think will make everybody feel better? First of all, we need to go and talk to the Seven about this. Secondly, and I think we do second thing first, we need pizza. Desperately. We need to go get pizza.
Yeah, pizza and ice cream.
Billy just had breakfast, but his stomach growls at that.
This pizza is not about being full or not full. It is comfort food. We all clearly need a little
just the taste of the slice.
edible
It's just
hug.
the taste of the slice.
We need to go split a pizza. Like, I have a couple bucks. I'm sure we can chip in and get a pizza. And then while we're down there, we need to talk to the Seven. My bike was back in the garage. Did you guys find your bikes?
Yeah, mine was back in the garage too.
Oh, Beans, I forgot about my bike.
Well, go check, Coop. Come on.
I'm checking.
Hurry up, Coop!
We got
We have
places.
pizza! Pizza's on the horizon!
I think last I checked, my bike was miniaturized in my bag. Is it in the garage or is it in my bag?
Which do you look in first?
Well, since we're standing outside, and I would have thought it would be in my bag, I will open my bag and see if it is there.
As you're rummaging around in your bag, Billy, you don't see your miniature bike in there. However, you feel as though something has just either bit you, cut you, or something intensely hot has burned your hand. Enough that you involuntarily jerk your hand out of your bag. And as your bag falls to the ground, one of those bars of silver slips out.
Oh.
So I imagine I drop the bag and lift my hand up, shaking it, and the bar, kind of tumbles out the top.
There are blisters boiling on the back of your hand where the bar touched your hand. And when I say boiling, I mean like the skin is just settling down from literally...
So, like, second or full on third?
Like beyond, like the worst kind of third degree.
Third would mean that
shit.
there's bone showing. #science.
I mean,
I
it's...
so seldom get to use my biology degree. Second is, of course, the first two layers of the dermis being affected. So,
well, this is movie third degree burns.
First is red, second is when it starts to bubble.
Oh no, I forgot about the silver. This is terrible, Ted. It's a shame you have to roll on the table.
yay, Tomato! I'm
Yes.
so proud of you.
All right.
Tamiko expressed some guilt last week that that she's the only one using the table. I said, "You're doing a great job, crushing it every day."
That's 5 domain pops.
Where would we be?
Already spent, and I have my table ready. Ted, D100.
That is going to be a 15.
You guys keep rolling.
That's probably the
easy
green
ones.
part of the table.
Hey, I There's the dice.
Yes.
Okay. This is one that cannot be resolved at this exact moment, but I will resolve it as soon as I can. So I've made a note of that. But
Laz, seeing the silver bar kind of spill out on the ground, kind of very quickly looks around to make sure that there's nobody around, especially any kind of like authority figure, and is very quickly going to like bend down and scoop it up and stick it in his own bag for the time being.
Is it hot to the touch? Like,
To Laz, no.
oh, okay.
To Laz, it's actually cold.
What'd you do to your hand?
The something in my bag, it was burning me. And I'll just kind of I'll like hold the hand off to the side and I'll dump out my bag. And number one, he was looking to make sure that his grandfather's knife is actually still there, but making sure that everything else is there. But to
Did you
see
just
what
you
hell
just
was
said
hot.
you dumped all of your items onto the ground?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh God. Hey, did you just say you did the thing that you said you did?
Yeah. I
What
did
was
the
in
thing I
your
said I did.
bag? What are the items that you dump out onto the ground?
All right. All right, I've got the 2 bars of silver, the pocket knife, flint and steel, rope, a map, a spyglass, and a first aid kit.
You dump everything out onto the ground, and you see the other bar of silver. Laz just grabbed the one. And you see all of those items that you mentioned. And as you all are standing there, who is wearing earrings or necklaces? Jessica is wearing both.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Anybody wearing dog tags, key around their neck, anything like that? Okay.
Bye.
Jessica.
I mean, Oak's suspenders would have metal.
Oh,
would have like metal
your
bits on them,
braces.
but yeah, my braces. Yeah.
Oh
I
God,
like
and your
braces, yeah.
Jessica. As you
Oh
see
no,
Billy
it's
dump
Poltergeist 2.
as you see Billy dump all of the stuff on the ground, you feel a light tugging at your neck. And you see your necklace sort of raising up, and you can feel your earrings tugging a little bit on your ears. Oak, your braces are rattling, like something's trying to pull at them. Billy, as you
Billy,
dump
what you got in there, buddy?
as you dump everything on the ground, Billy, everything sort of lands on the ground, and your grandfather's knife sort of hits the ground and spins. But then it does this sort of... And then it starts slowly rotating. And it starts lifting off the ground. And now it's tumbling in the air.
I would try to reach out and
You're
grab
gonna
it.
cut
Number-
yourself.
Well, it's a pocket knife. It's like a folding
It's a
knife.
folded
Like,
pocket
it's not-
knife.
Oh.
it's not open.
I need you to make a flight check. What's your flight dice?
All right, flight is one that's not elevated, correct?
Correct.
So my flight die is only a D4. No, I'm gonna fail because that's a 1.
You reach out for your grandfather's knife, and as it's rotating and you reach for it, it suddenly goes, hold steady for a moment, and as you go to grab it, it takes off at about 4 feet in the air, moving very rapidly, but not super fast, but faster. I mean, anything that's a floating knife moving through the air is fast. And it is flying in the direction of northeast. The same direction that Jessica, your necklace is tugging you.
I chase after it.
As you start running after it, and we see this sort of wide shot, crane shot of Billy running after this floating knife. Everybody's standing there, and if you take off after him or not, whatever. But we see northeast off on the horizon, behind some trees, we see a thin plume of black smoke rising.
Huh?
And that's where we're going to take our break.
Never any time for any pizza.
You guys can go get pizza if you want.
No, we
have to change
can't.
the magnet
We
meter
now,
first.
Now
we
let's
now
just
got
end
a
the path of,
magnet meeting. It's just a bunch of smart kids.
You guys can totally ignore the floating pocket knife. Whatever.
I was
Yeah,
just...
you could've-
If you go back and watch on the VOD, when Ted said Billy dumps everything on the ground, I went... Because he just said that about the knife, and I'm like, oh no, because I was kind of keeping track of whether or not you brought bikes out here or what kind of stuff you had. So
Incredible.
always listening, always plotting. All right, let's see what happens when we get back. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stick around. And we're back. And Billy, your grandfather's knife is floating and rapidly getting away from you. To be clear, this is not necessarily like this isn't a railroad hook to get you to a certain location. It's not moving so fast that somebody couldn't potentially run it down and grab it. But right now, it is floating across the field. So anybody that wants to attempt can make flight check. Billy already failed the initial check to grab it. But I had rolled an initial flight check when it took off flying, so anybody who wants to try to grab it can do so.
My flight check is a 4.
You got bikes.
Failed again. I went off on foot. I said that, so I'm chasing it down and failing miserably. That was my second one.
Well,
I'll try.
I did get a 9.
Nice.
Nope.
More to the evidence that Jessica is a cross-country runner. Or
Track
a fucking
star,
sprinter.
Jessica.
I think that
She's a
Oak
runner.
is.
She's a track star.
I think that Oak is doing it involuntarily because his braces are moving in the general direction. So
Oh god, I can't stop.
yeah, it's like skidding on his heels.
I'm coming.
That's pretty funny.
As he realizes that he's going to be going in that general direction anyways, he will try and catch up to the blade. And you said how high is it up in the air?
About 4 feet in the air.
4 feet.
Okay. He's 4'8", so his little arm will be able to reach it. That's cool. He'll attempt to.
I will let you roll 1 die higher for your flight, since I like that imagery of the magnet.
Yeah, dude.
The magnetism is sort of involuntarily you're finding yourself moving faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Looney Tune legs.
Yeah.
But don't roll a 1.
Don't roll a 1. Okay. Well, thank you for saying that, because now it's probably possible. Okay.
Well, it is possible, but it's not going to happen.
No, it's not. Positive thoughts.
All right.
Manifest.
That's gonna be a 6 on my flight check.
That's pretty good.
Oh wait, and I have a +1, so that'll be a 7 from my flight check.
Jessica gets the closest to it, but can't quite catch it as you all are scrambling after this thing. Fortunately, as you get to the far side of the green space, there's more houses. And you see, as it's eluding you, you see this knife flying forward, and you hear this metallic sort of boom as the knife slams against one of the garage doors. And then you see it going boom, boom, it's starting to flip slowly, almost like it's walking and moving towards the corner of the garage where
Shit.
it would be heading again northeast.
Now's your chance.
Try and grab it right there.
At this point, I would say, with Jessica having rolled the highest, Jessica, you're able to catch up to it as it's against the garage, and right before it sort of flips around. In fact, it sort of flips part way and is kind of like vibrating against the side of the garage and moving towards that corner when you get to it, and you're able to grab it. Your necklace and your earrings are also tugging in that direction.
She like grabs the knife and like tries to pull it.
You can.
Okay.
The magnetic attraction was very strong, but not enough that it's can be yanked out of your hands. It was just a loose knife on the ground.
Okay. She pulls it and she's going to give it back to Billy.
And you all would notice that Oak is struggling a little bit to stay still. Every time Oak stops moving, if you're not holding on to anything, just every few seconds you kind of go.
I drag like a chair in church. Just
As you all sort of catch up and Jessica gives this knife back to Billy, you all hear the sort of as you see a military helicopter fly overhead, but it's moving very slowly, and it's not moving in that direction. It's moving perpendicular to that, so it's flying east, and you watch as it goes out a little ways, and then you see it bank around and come sweeping back in this direction. It looks as if this helicopter is on some sort of a search grid.
Uh-oh. As Rosie and Coop catch up to the others, be like, "Did you get it?"
Jessica caught it. Thank
Shit.
you.
What was that about? Oak, are you moving? As Oak is trying to stand still, but he's just sort of going.
Oak's just kind of moving on his own, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Like Mario in the Ice Worlds.
Yeah.
Just kind of like very.
It's ghosts! It's ghosts!
Deep cut.
I gather it has something to do with the touchdown last night. Now we've got a helicopter, searching around. Do we go have
I have an
a
idea.
meal?
I say we
Pizza.
eat something and figure it out.
Because
That
pizza
sounds-
will have a roof, and it will also have pizza.
And I
Laz
can
comes
sit somewhere.
skating up and hands Billy his backpack again. And he says, "Heads up, Weebelo." Again.
I imagine the first time I caught it without a problem. The fact that I've got massive burns on my right hand. I go to catch it with my left, and it just like I miss, and it hits me in the chest and drops to the ground. I reach down, I pick it up. I try to urge Oak next to the house so that he can use the house to stop pushing him in the direction.
Yep. His
going.
back is now against the garage. He's just like,
Can we go get pizza now? I'd really like to go
La-
get pizza now.
Laz is like, "Oh, hey, Oak, come here. I got an idea."
Rosie would lean over to Laz and be like, "Don't do anything that's gonna hurt him."
he's like,
No.
no. Quick question: is the pull strong enough, Jake, that I couldn't like walk in the other direction?
If you've ever stood in like knee deep water, like in the
Yeah.
ocean, when
Okay.
when the
Oh.
waves come in and then they're drawing back, you can stand and you can move against it, but it has a little bit of pull. You
So
feel
that's what I'm saying. Like, cause like, so you guys see it, cause this is what he feels, right? You see in his shorts, he like somehow high waters it, like he has to pick his legs up and then drop, and then pick his legs up and drop, right?
Aw.
Like he's cresting waves. He's just like, oh, what are you trying, Oak? What are you trying, Laz? Come on, man.
So
Laz-
Billy asks for just a minute, and he pulls out the first aid
Sure.
kit, and he bandages up the burns, and then like I would get to your right side so that my burn hand is not next to you, Oak, and I'll
Yeah.
kind of like support,
Aw.
help support, and
Yeah.
I think I'm significantly taller than you, but
Yes.
you said you were what, 4'8"?
4'8". Yes.
All right, so
He is-
so
he
I've
is
got a little
mini.
bit more than a foot on you.
Yeah.
But as I'm pushing, or I'm assisting, you're able to get a little bit of assistance there.
Okay. And then what were you gonna say, Laz?
Once Oak gets to Laz, he helps him up onto his skateboard and stands behind him
Oh my god.
and just lets the magnetism pull them on the skateboard.
Oh, this is. I didn't think about that, but this is cool, man.
This is the first time he's ever
Right?
been on a skateboard.
Oh.
No, just
This kid
stick
who
your
has
arms out,
hard.
just balance.
I am. I imagine there's this moment. The movie has not come out, but there's this moment where Laz is behind Oak on the skateboard, and it's like the Titanic, where his arms are just
Yeah, he's
yes.
definitely riding behind him, and he's got his hands like under, like in his armpits,
Oh
like
my
holding him
God.
steady,
Yeah,
and like leaning him whenever they need to like turn.
yeah, like using the magnetism to shred down. Oh God, yes.
Bubs.
somebody roll a D4 for me, please.
Not it.
My D4s are only rolling one, so I don't think you want me to.
Three.
Good sir, 3.
Yay!
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I
Bye.
hate it. I hate it.
He just stores
Rosie
it away
Rosie
in
would
his
get
utility
on her
belt.
bike and yeah, be like, all right, well, are we gonna go? It does Coop. Did Coop go back and grab his bike?
Meet you there.
Yeah, you guys are already fucking gone.
We're already gone. I mean, if Coop didn't want to go back and get his bike, he could take Oaks, because Oaks would be out on the green space. He could take Oaks.
Anybody that goes back to their place looking for their bike finds it.
That will be faster than me just walking. So I would, if other people were going back for their bikes, I would as well.
Yeah, I can't take your bike, buddy. I'm a bike breaker.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
So you all go get your bikes. Laz, you're pushing Coop on the skateboard. Is that what it was?
No, we're both standing on the deck of the skateboard.
standing
just
together.
using, yeah, the magnetic pull to just like pull us along.
Well,
Did you do it?
Oak is on. Yes, he
Dang
did.
it.
Oak is on the skateboard.
Think of
Just in
car.
Oak
case.
on the skateboard. If you're doing that, though, it's going to pull you right towards the garage of the building because
Well-
that's the way the magnetic pull is happening.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
can we
going
not
toward the
go
garage.
past the house,
It's not coming from the house.
or is it like through like a field or something?
It's the house was just
no, yeah, like
Well, but like
Go
around.
you
They get
were
around
on the northeast side just now of the circle of the Twilight Grove. You were on the northeast side. Town is southwest, or actually west.
okay.
The magnetic pull is happening in the direction of the northeast.
Southwest.
No. What? Oh,
okay.
yeah. Here.
We're
Oh,
going
hold on.
almost directly west. This thing is pulling to the northeast.
So it's pulling up in the direction of where the circle is here. And you want to go to get pizza, which is, I said straight west. So the magnetic pole would pull you the opposite direction of where you want to go.
Oh, damn.
It was a good idea.
Never mind.
I feel like we go for a little bit. We realize that we can't go anymore, and then like curve around and come back up the hill.
Just use like your momentum, like Apollo 13.
Yeah.
Whip
So-
it around.
At this point, the resolution of that rolling... Hold on, stop.
It's time to take your pill.
No, that was the 3-minute timer I set when you rolled a 3. As you're trying to figure out what is happening with the orienting the magnetism and Oak on the skateboard, and everybody's getting ready to head to town, you all first feel a just sort of a like a pulse that ripples across. You all feel as if like a deep bass note has just passed through your body. You actually see the trees in the field sort of, and then you hear boom. Like, it's not an explosion, it's just that super deep bass sound. Boom. And as that happens, Jessica, your necklace goes phew, and Oak on the skateboard just sort of goes. The magnetism has stopped.
Oh shit. Okay. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's the Brom. It's
This
the,
place sucks.
the Chris
I don't
Nolan's
think we
Brom.
should talk about it. I think we should go get pizza, reconvene after one slice apiece.
Yeah.
One slice?
I'm just saying that's when the meeting happens, Coop. You can have as many slices as you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well, that was fun. But yeah, I think pizza time is ready. Really about to happen.
So
I'll get your bike.
it only takes you a few minutes to gather your bikes, gather yourselves, and begin heading into town. By now, you've made this trip on your bikes. It seems that you're always making the trip on your bikes away from Twilight Grove to town, yet you've never ridden your bikes.
We've never
back.
ridden back.
You just always end up walking or showing
We
up
did-
back here.
We
I
did
think-
it once
Yeah,
once.
maybe once.
on our way home from the conspiracy meeting.
I would like everybody to roll a d20.
I'm
This is not a pass-fail.
gonna put mine in the chat like a good student. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So as you're all riding to town, you do the usual pull out of Twilight Grove and up along M22, and then it curves towards town. You get around the curve and you're heading up by where the church is. And you see Coop, you kind of notice as you're all riding along, nobody else seems to really pay much attention to it. And then Oak, you would also kind of notice it. So I guess the two of you kind of notice that as you're riding your bikes towards town, you first see a white Ford Bronco parked right in the middle of the road, and a man is out and has lifted the hood on the truck and is peering inside. You get a little further along, and you see a station wagon with wood paneled siding on it near the church. Looks like it was partway pulling out of the church parking lot, and there's an older woman sitting there that is kind of looking very confused. She's opened up the door and looking confused at her car. the closer you get to town, you see a couple more of there's cars just parked in the middle of the street, people trying to figure out what's going on. But Coop and Oak, you're the only two that seem to notice it. As you head into town to the pizza place. It's up to you if you say anything to the others about it, but after the second or third car, it's definitely something that's out of the ordinary.
Guys, you seeing any of this?
All the cars died.
We made an agreement. Pizza first, then we're gonna talk about all these dead cars. And the fucking bomb that went off, and the magnet thing, and the frickin' imprisonment of two of our friends.
Okay, I'm just... Table it for later. Pizza first.
Put a pin in it.
Priorities, Put a pin in it.
Which is the dematerialization, the traveling back through time.
Maybe we should start with a
Oak's
list.
gonna make a list. Bulleted.
Got a list.
As you head towards the pizza place, you do see a handful of people that have started to come out from inside stores, and it's pretty much all adults, and you hear them murmuring to one another, and a couple of them are like looking around like this, and there's another guy that's got his tapping his watch.
Oh no.
But you all get to the pizza place, and you walk in, and it's just like it was in when Billy and Jessica, when you were there last night, except everything seems solid. Nothing seems to be made of cardboard. Except for a big giant cardboard sign of the Pizza Maniac just inside the pizza place. As the six of you walk into the store, you see a tall man with a mustache, dark hair. This looks like in the 1980s, if you imagined what Luigi looked like as a person.
Yes.
Tall, skinny. Yes. He comes out as you're walking in, and he goes, "Oh man, you guys like pepperoni?
Yes.
Can you eat a lot of pizza?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay right there. This is your lucky day." And he goes into the back, and he comes out almost immediately with 3 large pizza boxes. These just came out of the oven. My car's dead. I can't deliver them. I can't make no more pizzas either. So there's 3 pepperoni. I think one of them's got mushrooms on it. But I don't want it to go to waste. You all just showed up, so here you go. 3 pizzas on the house.
This is the best day ever.
Oh, this is like winning the lottery. Aren't you guys glad that we came here first? If we had waited, who knows?
You notice also that it's a little bit darker in here than you would expect it to be. Like, it's not dark, because there's light from outside that's coming in through the big windows on the front. But you realize that none of the interior lights are on.
Oh. Rosie would ask me, like, is there like a power outage? Everybody's like...
Yeah, a few minutes ago. Seems like the power went out everywhere. Nobody seems to know what's going on. Whole town, it seems. No power.
Oh, that's really, really weird, Les says as he like takes the boxes. We should really go.
I think maybe we should stay... Laz, what if we... Isn't it nice that there's a nice place inside that we can eat?
They've got one of those serve-it-yourself soda things.
And Rosie would lean in and be like, where there's no helicopters? Laz?
All right. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Is there like a corner booth in this place?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the
corner booth that has enough
1980s.
window light.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's right near the. As you walk in to the left in the corner, it's one of those tables. That's the big round one, where you could probably fit like 12 of you around this table.
Perfect. Awesome.
It's got.
He hops in so that the wacky clown picture on the wall is behind him and not in his field of view.
Sit wherever there's a seat. Just sit somewhere.
Yeah, you guys all squeeze
I
in.
imagine that this place, also provided, the paper plates that, come with it, and Billy will, pass out two to everybody because, that's the way they did things.
They're hefty slices.
Is the soda machine working?
If you go up to the soda machine, it would not. Well, would it be working?
Usually, like,
I think-
O2 powered, not
I think you would get. If you try to get some soda, you get about a third of your cup filled with soda, and then all of a sudden it starts going and spraying carbonated water into it and all over the place. You basically got whatever was in the pressurized line.
Laz kind of looks over at Coop with like an apologetic look on his face. Maybe they have tea?
You're muted,
No,
buddy.
serve it yourself.
Hey, sir, do you have like the leaders or something? Like, for like to, if somebody orders something to go, you got like leaders?
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, because the cooler, it's only going to stay cool for so long. And he walks over and he comes back. You hear this sort of clinking sound, and he sets down 6 glass bottles of Coca-Cola.
Oh.
And he very quickly takes the bottles and he goes, sets them at the edge of the table and just goes, poof, sets it down, poof, sets it down, popping the tops on the edge of the table.
Amazing.
Free pizza and soda. So you're definitely your lucky day.
Thank you very much.
This is the best.
I'm gonna be just out front here. I'm gonna check next door, see if I can figure out what's going on. You kids just stay here, enjoy your pizza, stay out of trouble. And you see he walks out the front door, and you can see him. He's just around talking to somebody at the next door, whatever the next door building is.
Beck, Laz is going to check the cooler to see if there's ice cream in there.
Laz, he already gave us a pizza and soda. Don't fucking steal from him.
I'm not going to steal. I just want to see if there's anything.
You just see more. There's Cokes and Diet Cokes and Mountain Dew, all glass bottles.
Yeah.
Rosie is looking in these boxes to see which one has mushrooms on it. I want that one.
Yeah, there's one piece of. Now these are like 16-inch pies. These are big. They got big, thick crust on them. These are like homemade pies. They're not like you get at some of the chain places. And they're just loaded with cheese and pepperonis, and the one's got mushrooms all over it.
Rosie finds that mushroom one and takes a slice. She kicks her feet up onto an empty chair and just takes like a big breath as she like eats it. She's like, I think pizza is proof that God loves us.
So he's not going to take more than his share, but Billy is already wolfing down slices of pepperoni. Yes, pun intended.
I mean, essentially there's 24 pieces of pizza amongst the 6 of you, so yeah, Billy attacks it with ravenous fervor, but you have a basically a private booth and a place to talk and eat pizza and drink soda. So whatever you guys want to talk about.
Do they have like those paper like menus, play mats or whatever for like kids?
Oh, that's brilliant. I was actually
With
gonna
the
mention
pizza
that. That's
maniac
amazing.
on 'em?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Get the
yeah,
maniac
exactly.
through the maze.
So Laz will bring over like 3 or 4 of those and like flip them over to like the blank side and like hand probably Oak like the
Yep.
crowns, knowing that, you know, he's kind of the scribe of the group.
Sure, absolutely.
He's like, so what are we gonna do? Like, what if the people from the facility like come looking for us?
Well, that was what I was thinking this morning, and honestly, I don't know an answer to give you. I really don't.
And he kind of like peeks out the window.
If they got helicopters, there's no telling what kind of things they got going on for us. I was legitimately gonna ask, maybe we should leave, you know, like leave Michigan or like leave the country, because like now we're on the road. We are fugitives now. We're fugitives.
So
You forget some of us have family here. Billy's from here. I'm from here.
I know. I'm not suggesting you want to leave your family. I'm just saying, like, that's scary. You know.
Well, no shit. But are we going
My
to be
home
the kind of
life-
people that run away from things, or are we going to be the people who take care of it?
Right.
I mean,
My
some of
home
us can
life's-
handle even the biggest and the baddest pretty well, and Rosie would like bump Coop and smile at him.
My home life's nothing special right now, but like, even if we had the ability to go somewhere, it's not like, you know, the 6 of us could just pick up and leave our life behind. Where would we go? What would we do? And
Laz
Yeah.
says California, and he slams one of the silver bars down on the table.
well, that's saying something. But the thing to take into account, they're not government.
No, they're not. So maybe what we do, okay? Maybe the way we protect each other is we got to get, first of all, Billy, I'm sorry. We got to get rid of these silver bars. Because I don't want you to get hurt no more. Okay?
Yeah, Laz, we got to get rid of these silver bars. How does that project coming along?
Look, it's really hard to find somebody who's willing to buy a silver bar in this town. Nobody wants anything to do with them. Not any of
Well-
the people that I've talked to.
Well, that's going to be project number 1 then, okay? We got to get rid of them so that maybe we can get some stuff, right? Like, we
Have-
get them.
Have you talked to any of the 7? Like, do they know? Like, I don't know who it was that, you know, saw us nick 'em.
Some of the people that are a part of the 7 are the people that we stole them from in the first place.
Yeah.
But the ones,
You think
but the
that-
ones that were there, the ones that were in the 7, weren't the ones that were pissed off about it. I would know. I think we need to finish up here, and we need to go talk to them. I think they'll have a better idea. Plus, again, it's not like hiding from these creeps does anything. They snatched Billy and Jessica just by poof. I mean, they could do that to any of us at any time.
That's the thing that's got me the most worried. S- How they can do something like that. Like, I don't know whether they did whatever they did, or whether this place made me the way I was. But before I came here, I was not what you saw last night.
Right.
Oak is like, you see him like drawing on the back of this, like trying to take notes, trying to take whatever, and then
Okay. But we can't. What we got to do is we got to try to go about living here like normal. They can't suspect that we suspect stuff. Okay? So, like, maybe we do it like we did the first time. With the dreams, right? I knew I had a dream. You knew you had a dream. Right? They don't have to know what we know. So what if we fake it?
But they saw us all.
I was just gonna say that, like, they were like, I don't experimenting on some of us, so I feel like they might think that we're, faking it. I think that they would know.
I know at least one tight ass military dude that knows my face.
That's out.
Oak, it was a good idea.
I just
We
I want you
know
guys to get
that
hurt.
we know that there's this faction at the processing plant. We know that there's the 7. What about the welcome wagon people? Like, are they affiliated? Like, we know that they don't get along with the 7 because the 7 were worried that we talked to her.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's affiliated with the people at the plant.
I think they're like a third party. Well, honestly, the way they were talking, I don't even know if they know what they're talking about, man.
Yeah,
Like,
it seemed like they're playing an entirely different board game.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but
mean-
they're pretty freaky deaky too, though, because they gave us the grab bags, the goodie bags, and they all had our own bikes in them,
Yep.
except for Laz,
I
because
think,
he doesn't have a bike.
I think maybe we can't really trust anybody except us.
Okay.
We
I
have
think right
we
now
have to.
we can't. I mean, the 7 fucking let you get poofed. I mean, the conspiracy theory people, who the hell knows what they're up to? And I mean, I don't see either of you running back to that
Conspiracy-
science lab.
I wasn't there for the conspiracy theory, right?
Yeah, everybody was. I thought, no?
No, I don't think so.
No.
it-
Okay,
That was
I
after
apologize.
No, that-
after I poofed, right?
Yeah, that was in the week that Jessica and Billy were gone that you guys
Yeah.
went to the meeting.
That we
Okay.
did the meeting, yeah.
I don't know what the conspiracy theory people are, but if we can
That's-
identify what factions are here and
Yeah.
see if we can work one against another to give us some kind of information or leverage, because I mean, even if we've got some, and I look to I assume the mouse in Laz's pocket, to Jess and myself, and just kind of like shake abilities, I still don't think it's we're gonna be able to stand up to their military might. It's too much.
I wouldn't exactly call what I have an ability, just so you know, before
Okay.
you go ahead counting me in.
Hold on. Wait a
you
minute.
still
I gotta-
still haven't told us what's weird with you, Miss America.
I gotta know though. Like, what did
I-
they do to you?
Yeah.
I saw the bodies in the room, right, Jake?
No, you didn't, because Jessica steered you
I
away
didn't.
from that room.
I purposely.
You were
Jessica
you were
was
going to go
purposely-
that way, and Jessica steered you in the other direction.
Okay, all right.
Doesn't want anybody to know she's a 100-meter dasher. Doesn't want anybody to know she's a murderer. So many secrets.
Some should have been named Victoria.
All right. Well, I can only assume that they did something to you, and that is what allowed you to get out. But maybe you talked your way out of the room that I had to rip myself out of a gurney. So I apologize. But
You have blood on your shirt? I'm pretty sure I saw blood on your shirt last night.
Jessica looks down, picking at her pizza slice. All right. Well, there's this me who's like not me, who like lives in the mirror that's like our world but not our world, and she's like a real bitch, like a real bitch, and she gets a little angry sometimes, and then she and I flip and I see the world through her eyes, but then she like comes into our world and she beat the shit out of all of the scientists that were in the room.
I am
And she, like-
slowly head turning over to Laz.
You see,
Yeah, he's going like
you see,
like feeding Templeton like pepperoni and cheese, and he's just got his hands just like stuck there.
I was gonna say
He's just staring and just-
Templeton's sitting there holding a piece of pepperoni, and even Templeton's going.
I imagine
He's
just
like-
as Jessica keeps going on, like Billy's jaw just continues to just drop further. and
Slowly
further.
drop. All pizza falls to the plates. I
She
think
like goes back to her pizza and like takes a bite. She's like, so yeah.
and then there's a moment of clarity, I think, for Oak in just a split second. And Jake, if you'll allow it, can I say that I have like a kind of just an arrangement of comic books in my bag?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Oh, this is so cool.
Hold on, wait a minute. And he'll dive into his bag and he'll
Jessica, I'm not trying to scare you or nothing, but this sounds just like, oh my, this is so cool.
and he'll toss down a couple of different comic books. For one of the original X-Men, right? Like one of the original X-Men run. And then he also will toss down one of the original, and I did my research before tonight because I wanted to make sure it was canon within the 80s. He would toss down one of the original first edition Moon Knight comics, which happens to be titled Werewolf at Night. Okay, the first one happens to be titled Werewolf at Night, and he'll toss down that, and then he'll also toss down like a Doctor Strange comic.
Jesse, it's like this. You're a walking talking X-Man.
Jessica had like the most regretful face on her. She's like, so I didn't want to like say anything.
I didn't mean, look, I'm not trying to make fun of it. I'm saying that is the coolest shit I've ever heard. Do you know how cool? I dream about that. I want to be that sometimes. And you get to do that. You get to be an X-Man. That is...
Yeah, like a
But-
mutant.
She's an ex-woman.
Great, super, love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But no. Like, really, in this comic, Moon Knight, that's kind of like the same thing. There's you, and then there's other you, and then that other you does stuff.
I would kind of put my arm around Oak and like squeeze his shoulder, and I'd be like, it's just exactly like that. It's just exactly the same. I could kind of see that Jessica's a little uncomfortable, and I would like
My
kinda, like,
12-year-old brain is too excited about it to like.
I'm
shut
giving you the
down.
mom squeeze.
I'm gonna eat a pizza. But that is the coolest thing I have heard tonight. I'm gonna eat.
So you don't have to talk about this if you don't want. But have you interacted with her? Like, how does it work?
So like, she was talking to me. She's been talking to me for how long have we? Like, when did she have her first? Because it was in the window, right, when she had her flashback with her parents in the car is when the first time she saw her reflection. So that
Pretty much since you
What?
arrived.
yeah.
Since you arrived in Paradise.
which is, what are we, like about 2 weeks?
Week and a half. Because it was a week between
Yeah, there
two
was-
of our arcs, and so
Yep. So yeah, it's about a week and a half, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, so like this kind of like started maybe like a week and a half ago. I can talk to her. She isn't the greatest. But the whole like blacking out and switching and coming back and seeing a room full of bodies, that's new. And we haven't had that conversation yet. But she was trying to help us like get out of that lab there.
she doesn't sound so bad then. Is she just mean?
When you
Said she's a
talk to
bitch.
her on behalf of all of us, thank her for helping you get out of that room.
She doesn't need that. It would like make her ego way too big. She already knows.
Okay.
But I will. I don't know what she is yet. She has said some things that make me think that she is on our side, but I'm not sure.
Laz, ever since Jessica revealed this little piece of information, you feel Templeton trembling on your shoulder.
He kind of like turns to him. You okay? You cold? Or...
He's staring right at Jessica. Be careful of her. If she has another person that she can't control, I've seen stuff like that in the labs.
Was this something that, like, this lab did to one of the other animals there, or like?
It was... I think Algernon came from one of those experiments.
Then Laz is now looking at Jessica as well with a little bit of concern.
I see Oak almost fucking bursting at the seams, like he wants to say something else. And I would like finish my pizza. I would set it down. I'd be like, "What?"
He looks directly at you, Rosie. Adventuring party.
Yeah.
Totally forgot.
So Jake, while this is going on, Billy begins thinking, not Rosie, Jessica has said that, it seems like it's been since the beginning of this, Billy wants to try and replay things in his mind. Is there anything that he might have picked up on that back then it wasn't anything, but looking at all of the clues? Because the first sign that he had of any kind of transformative thing was when he was in the lab yesterday. Is there anything that you can remember that would have happened before that could have been a possible clue?
Are you talking about since you've arrived in Paradise kind of thing?
Yes. Yep.
Go ahead and make a brains check for me.
The 9.
Thinking back, everything seems to have started when you went back in time. Ever since you went through that portal, that seems when things with you guys specifically started to get weird. There was a little bit of weirdness before that, but things seemed to really ramp up when you went back in time.
So I'm gonna, say out to the group, our first trip to the lighthouse all that time ago, I think something might have happened there.
I mean, no shit. We went back in time. What do you mean something?
So whatever like, piece or clue I come up with of where, sensations feel off or where, things change, like we made a change to some degree, like went back in time, maybe whatever it is that we did made changes to here, made changes to us.
It could have been anything. Talking to the people from the boat, Laz showing off his lighter.
I'll say with that 9 you rolled, as you are making these suggestions that maybe you changed something you did, a thought comes to your mind that maybe it was something back then that was there. You didn't necessarily cause something. What if something happened to you when you were back in time?
So I begin trying my best to recollect what actually happened in that tower on that beach, beyond hey, there's a giant crocodile monster and pirates.
A look of horror comes over Rosie's face, and she's like, "It wasn't when we had the pit spitting contest, was it? Did we really fuck up time? Did we do something bad?"
I doubt it was pit spitting that changed this.
No, I don't think that's it.
Maybe it's because we ate the cherries. Because if you remember, Heinz didn't give us food. He gave us the hot cocoa from our time.
Huh? Well, wait a minute. It couldn't be because we took the silver, though, could it?
I think it could be a lot of things. Just existing there could have messed stuff up, or messed us up.
Or wait, when we were in the lighthouse, and he kind of thinks about it. He's like, "Do you remember? There's been 2 instances now where we were in a lighthouse, and we used the light. And you remember when it said something about don't go in the first time we were in the lighthouse, it said don't go in the light or something like that? I don't remember exactly."
Yeah, there seems to be some kind of power that the beam of light has, or whatever it touches, something happens to it. They seem scared almost.
So something happened to James, and then something happened to Templeton, but when we arrived, Templeton was okay. You think that us doing something with the lighthouse changed stuff? Each time?
Can we see the lighthouse out the window from where we're sitting in this pizza place?
Sure. Yeah, I'll say that this is where it's located in town. It's on one of the streets that you can sort of see looking off in the direction.
True.
You can see the lighthouse just poking up above some trees. Not very far at all, actually. Probably like 1/8 mile, 1/4 mile. As you're all
not to keep beating the same drum, but Hines is also part of the 7.
as you're all sitting there debating this and trying to determine what could have caused this, you still see people milling about outside, but you notice that the sheriff and a couple of the deputies have shown up and are talking to a few people outside. They've shown up on foot, but they are standing just outside the window having a conversation. You see one of them is I forgot his name, the dickhead, Sheriff Andy something.
Andy
Deputy
Hill.
Andy
Hill.
Harwell.
No, Andy Hill was the pastor.
Oh, it's Andy Hill?
No, Andy Hill was the pastor. Andy Harwell was the cop that was kind of a dick to you guys, specifically Laz, I think. He's got his back to you, but also, as you're sitting there, and you just, you know how when you're sitting in a booth and you just occasionally move your feet, shuffle around. Billy, as you move your feet, you feel your foot kick something under the bench. Something that moves a little bit. Like not of its own accord, but like you hit it, you feel like there's definitely something underneath this bench.
I'll look and see what's there.
You look down and you see that where you are sitting, where the booth was set on the floor, there's these like a baseboard almost, but there's a section of this baseboard that looks like it was just one section of the curve. It's maybe 4 feet long, is missing. By what means you don't know, but it's missing. And as you look down, you see the very dusty, kind of dirty underneath of the booth. And you can see that what your foot hit, you can see just the edge of what looks like an old shoebox.
I'll look around, make sure no one, beyond us, that no one is.
You're the only ones in here
watching. Right. But I mean, there's through the window. So
yeah,
sure that,
nobody seems to be paying attention.
I'll just, I'll pull it out.
As you pull it out, you see on the lid of this box is written the name Billy Stapler. And there is an address written here as well. That is a Paradise, Michigan address. The box is not sealed, it just has a lid on it.
I'll open it.
Inside, you see a whole bunch of old-looking but very good condition baseball cards. Sitting on the top is a Mickey mantle. You have your D100 roll for a 15 was called Collector's Items.
Oh, crap.
These baseball cards could be worth a lot of money, and they are obviously of significant value to someone. So you have a Paradise, Michigan address and the name Billy Stapler, and a box full of rare vintage baseball cards.
Awesome.
And as you discover that, and we leave you all kind of in a state of theorizing and figuring out what you want to do, we will pick up again next week as we end our session. I want to stick with our planned ending time. So relatively calm session, and you did get a chance to have a little bit of exposition and get some pizza. And nothing weird happened with the pizza place.
Algernon's picking on Coop. One more reason I hate Algernon.
And I don't remember which one of you, but it was one of you that wrote
Who
the.
do you think?
I
Who do
thought
you
maybe
fucking
it was
think it
you,
was?
but you're like, who do you fucking think?
It was me.
I was going to say, I thought maybe it was you because as soon as I started to describe it, you were like,
a shoebox full of something.
I forgot
You know
to
what's
write the
funny?
names next to it of who came up with which ones, but I kind of remember some
I
of them.
remember writing one, but it was for a single card, right? Like I remember writing a piece.
Well, and as a reminder, some of you came up with several, in some cases, 2 or 3 of you came up with an almost identical thing. So I would combine them and I kind of added a little bit of flavor to them. So at any rate, that was episode
Yay.
17, Weird Science.
Weird science.
I hope you guys all enjoyed that.
Wonderful.
Whoa. Oh, sorry. I had a window pop open and it was not muted.
Oh no.
Okay. So yeah, with that, I hope you guys all enjoyed that. Thank you everybody who tuned in tonight. Hope you enjoyed hanging out in 1980 something in Paradise, Michigan with us. If you're somebody that likes to lurk quietly in the chat, or if you are somebody that's watching later with us in the VOD on YouTube, thank you. We appreciate you and hope you enjoy the show. And of course, I have to say a huge thank you. It's just so amazing to just get to sit back and watch awesome role players do their thing like tonight. So a huge thank you, as always, to Chad, Tamiko, Carrie, Ted, Jeremy, and Em, without whom this would be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Duh.